Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. Happy Friday, folks. It is Friday. But will the Bitcoin and crypto crash end? Will the sell-off stop today? Yesterday we had a pretty bad day, and it's looking like it got worse today. So will it stop? Let's talk about it. All right, let's do it, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are starting out the day $4,300 lower for Bitcoin. A 4% drop at 95.4. This is not a level we want to be at. Not a level we've seen for a very, very long time. Very long time. Why is there so much selling? Why is there so much fear right now? And is it just crypto related? Well, the answer to that is no. Right now, markets from around the world are all selling off. Today, look at it, not a good day to start with. Yesterday was absolutely horrendous for AI, tech, crypto-related stocks. And we're starting out the day just as bloody. And if you look at Europe, really bloody. Asia, really bloody with the exception of one market. But everyone is selling off right now. So this has a lot to do with it. But why? Why do we have this like massive sell-off, massive fear everywhere? Well, in the US, there are a few things that's weighing traders' minds right now. Number one is, since we finally ended the government shutdown and we got some economic data, this one was not so good. Foreclosures jumped 20% in October. You never want to see foreclosures jump, right? You don't want to see anything that shows that the economy is really, really bad. Maybe just a little bit off, but not like super bad. So that kind of scared people. And, you know, this rate cut that's coming next month, people don't want to see that it's only like a 50-50 chance that we're going to get it. Powell kind of set the tone here saying, well, don't be so sure there's another rate cut in December. And that's why we've fallen from like a 96% chance to like 70s, and now we're back to 50s, okay? If we don't get that rate cut in December, that's going to disappoint a whole lot of people. It's going to disappoint Wall Street. It's going to disappoint a whole lot of traders. So that is also scaring markets right now. And, you know, tariffs, inflation, this is still weighing on people's minds too. Especially every time you go shopping, you realize how expensive groceries are. Like beef, for example, steaks, burgers, anything. Seems to have gone up quite a lot, even though we're told inflation is transitory and tariffs are not going to add to the prices of goods and services. Obviously they have. So these are just some of a few things that's weighing down Wall Street's minds and traders' minds, right? And then there's also this thing about how AI is in a bubble. Although I got a really good response for that, even though it wasn't my original thought. It was Tom Lee's original thought. But AI, all of a sudden, because I think Michael Burry came out and said, well, I'm shorting NVIDIA and Palantir, somehow there's this like notion that AI is overvalued. But the funny thing is, Michael Burry lost so much money, he closed down his firm. He's been shorting for way too long, and he's lost basically everything. He decided to just close shop. You know? So, are we supposed to listen to him? But anyways, all these things are, you know, weighing on people's minds, which is why, you know, ETF sell-off yesterday was quite horrendous. We had 867 million come out of Bitcoin ETF. We had 260 million come out of Ethereum's ETF. So obviously, if you add those two together, we're talking about over $1 billion that came out. Not good. Solana didn't have outflow, but you know, barely anything. But the saving grace for yesterday is XRP. XRP's ETF actually took in 58 million, beating Solana's debut at 57 million. So there's that. That's good. That's good. Hey, look at, we're having a little recovery, a little bit here. But yeah, you know, overall, fear level is really high. Okay, we're sitting at a fear level unseen since March, actually, going back to March and April, when everything was really, truly falling and Bitcoin fell into the low 70s. Right, we're sitting well above that, but fear levels are just as high. Because, I mean, honestly, besides Bitcoin, the alts are back to that level, and some even below. So I recognize that some people are very fearful right now, right? But, you know, besides all these macro stuff I mentioned, what's going on internally with just Bitcoin and crypto people? Well, the Coinbase Premium Index have now turned red, meaning people are definitely selling off a lot more. And according to Crypto Quant, Bitcoin's decline is driven by U.S. liquidity stress, some of this macro stuff I talked about, long-time holders' tax-driven profit-taking. Keep in mind, with crypto, you could still do tax harvesting by selling off at a loss and buying it back immediately. You don't have to wait. For stocks, you do. I think you have to wait a month before you could do that. For tax harvesting, well, there's a specific term for that. I forgot what it is. But for crypto, you can still do that. But anyways, long-term tax-driven profit-taking and persistent American selling. Together, these factors form a clear narrative. The current correction is primarily driven by the United States. The tax thing always comes every year, right? But normally speaking, not this early. We wait until the bull run is over. Then it happens. But that could be a thing too. But what is this American selling though? This, like we have all these like OG Bitcoiners. Not all these, okay? Honestly, it's just like a few. And I've said this before. It doesn't quite make a lot of sense. They're either selling and then they're like using the proceeds to like short the market. It's weird. It's like some of these guys just got bored. Or some of these whales, their wallets belong to exchanges. I don't know. But you know, you guys know that a month ago, some OG wallet decided to sell like $300 million worth and then like decide to short Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like, how does that make sense? But we do have some of that going on right now too, right? None of it really makes a whole lot of sense, right? Even with all the macro fears right now, there's no reason to be having a global sell-off right now with everything. So is the end near? Did we already skip the top and we're coming down? We're entering crypto winter. Is this going to be over? Well, like I've been saying, the fundamentals have never been better. We still, from adoption standpoint, continue to have institutions, even countries, and then you have funds. You have all these guys still looking to load up on Bitcoin and still creating treasuries, not just for Bitcoin, but obviously for other crypto too, like ETH and Sol and XRP. Yesterday I covered one about Zcash. Those things have not changed. That's the most important thing, the fundamentals. The miners didn't leave. In fact, hash rate and difficulty continues to go up. That means the network is still secure and getting more secure every day. And again, you have all these countries that are coming out. Yesterday I covered about Taiwan. You have all these countries that's looking to create a treasury, or in this case, trying to move away from the dollar, and they want to get into Bitcoin mining, right? So this is part of the fundamentals that still very, very strong. Luxembourg's finance minister says their sovereign wealth fund have invested 1% of its asset in Bitcoin. 1% is a lot because we're talking about billions. But, you know, these guys could be moving up to 2, 3, 5%. Larry Fink actually, I think, recommends 5%. Right? So this is still all happening. This is good. And if you look at something like the global liquidity, the M2 money supply, it's been going up because countries have been printing more. And they're injecting because they need to. Economies, like the US economy ain't that great. China ain't that great. A lot of countries ain't that great. So they're injecting money. If Bitcoin comes back and follows the global liquidity, the global M2 money supply, the fair value actually should be around 170, not where we are right now at 96,000. So there's still a ways to go. Yesterday, in my video last night, I covered how the Treasury has their own kind of like bank account that they're supposed to be using to fund the economy and fund others with. That's at $1 trillion. That was all paused because of the government shutdown. Right now that it's over, they can start distributing that money, and that's part of it. There's a lot of money there. Just hasn't been used yet. And here's something else. Showing this from TechDev, showing the business cycle, and then our Bitcoin tops and the pre-parabolic stage, which this one is vast. It's bigger than the prior two, according to TechDev. And here's the thing. We haven't had that parabolic phase yet. No matter what anyone says, we haven't had it yet. And here's the reason why. And ChatGPT actually made me see this. And I've heard other people say it, but you know, it makes a lot of sense. It just didn't come to mind. Parabolic phase is when people get filthy rich, right? You feel dirty. And that's when you hear about people buying expensive things, right? Like people coming out and saying, well, I'm shopping for my Lambo, or I'm shopping for a new luxury watch, like a Rolex or AP watch. And you see a lot of people make so much money, you know, you kind of feel that it's too good and it's going to come to an end. That's the FOMO euphoria stage. That's what happens right before a bubble bursts. Just like recently, when gold hit like 4,400 and the chart was going upwards, you knew that was going to come to an end. That was like a bubble top. We still haven't seen that for Bitcoin, and certainly we haven't seen that for alts. And that's kind of how you know the cycle's not over, because every cycle needs to have that euphoria top, the FOMO top, where everyone can't sit on the sidelines. Everyone wants a piece and wants the FOMO in, and we haven't had that yet. So that makes me think that if our current weakness continues, we're going to see that in 2026. We don't have to rely on this like 4-year gauge where we have to end either in November or December. The cycle could be prolonged. It could be extended. The situation is different. There's just a lot more money now, a lot more crypto, and a lot more macro factors at play. But it really makes me think, yeah, the cycle's not over until we get that parabolic stage, the one that we all been waiting for. And it just hasn't hit yet. So, is it the end for Bitcoin and crypto? The answer is no. No, not in my opinion. I don't think it's over. Can we see more weakness like next week or a week afterwards? Maybe even going into December. That's always a possibility. But remember, the market does the opposite of usually what everyone thinks. Right now, the fear level is so high, and everyone thinks that we're going to go a lot lower. And that's usually when we turn around. So it's not over. It's not over. And something else that's not Bitcoin related, crypto related, is this. Now that we have, 6 different crypto ETFs, we're about to get a lot more because the SEC basically said, hey guys, if you follow these rules, just go list them. Just go list it, right? So there's going to be a lot more ETFs coming, which is good. Right now, you can see the inflows are quite positive with at least Solana and XRP. I don't know about Hedera. It's probably still up there. But if we do turn around, all these ETFs are going to make a big impact because it allows institutions to pour in billions of dollars into them. So this is still also happening. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Right now, a lot of fear. And it's not just Bitcoin and crypto fear. There's like an AI bubble fear, tech fear, more Trump fear. There's a lot of fear out there. Here's something interesting that Tom Lee said. So this is why he's a really good analyst, and I like him a lot. There's this AI fear that somehow NVIDIA and OpenAI, all these companies, maybe OpenAI is different because they're still private, but like a company like NVIDIA is too overvalued and it's going to pop, just like the dot-com bubble. Some of you guys lived through that. I did too and lost a whole bunch of money. But he was comparing like P ratio, okay, of NVIDIA versus the biggest company back in the dot-com bubble, Cisco. NVIDIA, as large as it is, the largest company on the planet that recently crossed 5 trillion market cap and is still sitting at 4.5 trillion, the forward PE ratio, basically just measuring profits to earnings going forward, is at 32. At peak in the dot-com bubble, Cisco's forward PE ratio was at 200. That shows you the difference between back then with a FOMO top, again, versus now. So basically, Tom Lee's like, this is nowhere the same. And back then, Cisco still had competition with routers and network switches and stuff like that. These days, it's about cloud, but back then, it's just hardware devices. Now, compared to NVIDIA, NVIDIA really has no competition. You could say AMD, but they're so far behind, it's not even funny. So basically, he explains this AI bubble thing is just, it's not true. We're nowhere close to the dot-com bubble days, okay, of before. Anyways, that's it. Let's do some Q&A. We got 4,000 people in here scared. I know that. There's a lot of fear out there right now. Macro fears, geopolitical fears, AI fears, or AI bubble fears. Bitcoin fears. There's a lot of fears right now, but not all is lost. And we've seen worse. We have seen worse. I know that, some people don't want to hear that, but we have. Dirk, I'm never wrong. It's just my timeline may be off. It's the same thing. I've seen people say, George, you have called tops and have held all the way to the bottom, right? Like the prior cycle. Holding 69,000 all the way down 15. I'm like, sure, but where are we right now? Are we at 15,000? Are we at 10,000? So it's kind of silly to say that. People have blamed me saying, well, you're too bullish and you've held. And so I held from 20,000 all the way down to 3,000. And then I rode that 3,000 up to 69,000. I rode that 69,000 down to 15,000. And now I rode it back up to 126 and even falling down to 96. Yeah, I held that. What's wrong with that? But yet you have people that are trying to say, well, that's a bad thing. I'm investing long term. I'm not trying to trade. There are a lot of people that are trying to trade. And they'll make you think that they're the smartest traders on earth and that they're making a whole bunch of money. I guarantee you most people that are trading are losing money. They're losing, especially versus the long-term holders. Long-term holders in any investments are the ones that make the most. You could go to gold, you could go to real estate, you could go to Bitcoin, you could go to even tech sector like Nvidia. The ones that have held these good companies for the longest and DCA'd along the way, they're the ones that made the most money, not the traders. Why do you think all these self-made billionaires in Wall Street, they're not traders, they're investors. They invest long term. They've held their investment for 5, 10, 20 years. They're the ones that make the most, not the traders that make you think that they're all geniuses and they never make a mistake. Spot is the way to go, but I know there are a lot of traders, and that's okay. There are some good traders. I'm not going to say every trader is bad, especially since I have Tyler on the team and a few others in my team that's running boot camp and in Discord. I know they're good. They're not perfect. No one's perfect, but there are some people that are good. But most people on X, man, especially guys like James Wynn, that just makes like crazy calls and gets liquidated left and right. Those are the guys that are not good traders. You shouldn't be following them. Yeah, there's this like rumor spread by people that like somehow Saylor's selling. Yeah, no, he just moved. He just moved wallets. Okay. But yeah, there are a lot of people on X that just like spread fear and misery. Could be on purpose. Keep in mind. Could be on purpose. A lot of those X accounts are botted accounts or fake accounts. You don't know who's actually controlling them. You don't know if it's just some big entity or a big whale that's just trying to drive as many people out as possible through all the FUD. We have seen it before many times. Someone special says I could do 100 push-ups in 20 minutes. Good for you. I could do 100 push-ups in 2 minutes. I don't know about 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. I used to could do it continuously, like nothing. Maybe now, like 3-4 minutes. If I took a break somewhere, every 20 I took a break, I could probably do it. I mean, honestly, I could probably do it in like less than 2 minutes. That's not really impressive. I think most people could do that in under 2 minutes. Is Dogecoin go get an ETF? Thanks for a super chat. Yes. Yes, I believe it will. I believe there are many pending applications for it. Two minutes is not hard. You could do 20 within like what? 20 seconds? And then you take a break for 20 seconds and then do more. Yeah, I think like 2 minutes. Okay, maybe 3 minutes, but still. Especially if you're in shape, you're doing like 2 push-ups per second. Sit-ups, on the other hand, man, I can't do sit-ups. I've always hated sit-ups. JL Molly, my day is never right until I watch your channel. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's why I'm here. That's why I still stream. To hopefully alleviate or quash some fears. Is that even a word? Quash? Squash. I don't know why I said quash. It's squash. Sit-ups are horrible for your neck. Yeah. What happened after fear got this low last time? You know what happened? You want to know what happened after fear level got this high? Last time fear level was at 15, 16. Bitcoin was right over here. Okay, and over here. So that's what happened. We formed a bottom, and then we recovered. Quash is a word? I thought it was a word, but it sounds weird. I do 100 sit-ups and then reward myself with a McRib. Let's not get on the topic of McRibs. Probably the worst sandwich ever made. I'd much rather eat anything else, like a hot dog, like a Costco hot dog, than a McDonald's McRib. I did want to let you guys know, for Clash, we have our big tournament today. It's going to be at tonight at 8 p.m. The link goes out at 7 p.m. So if you want to take your mind off the market and you want to win some free SOL, you should all join. Okay? Top 10 placers are going to win a lot of SOL. If they hold Clash, they could even double it. Spectators have a chance to win with our raffle. Random players that don't even make in the top 10 have a chance to win. And your odds are pretty darn good because of how many I'm giving out. So I highly suggest everyone to participate. Download the app. Download the game, Clash Royale, start playing. Or play with your kids. Or at least spectate. Okay, it'll take your mind off of things. And you have a chance to win free prizes. So make sure you sign up. It's in the description. And it's going to be posted on X and Facebook. So make sure you guys get involved. This is going to be our like 7th one, I think. 6 or 7. And every single one has been getting better, in my opinion. Is MicroStrategy in trouble? How do we join a raffle of spectators? Well, there will be a code. When you're watching, there will be a QR code. And basically, it's going to be in this tournament page too. I just haven't enabled it. Right now, you can only enter a tournament. But when I enable it, then spectator giveaways will have a wallet entry form. But right now, it's turned off. So even spectators win. And this is outside the normal giveaways. This is just a giveaway for spectators. So normal we have like 300-400 people. And giving away to 10 random spectators, that's a lot. That's a good odd. Good odds. I may even increase that tonight. I don't know. I'm going to think about it. But anyways, there's a lot of talk about MicroStrategy needing to sell. Saylor himself have said that he never needs to sell, ever. No matter what. No matter how low Bitcoin goes, he doesn't need to sell. Now, people are like, Willy Woo is starting to question if that's the case. What about if MicroStrategy stock falls below certain levels? Does he need to sell? I don't know. I don't know. Only Saylor could answer that because I don't know how he has structured his companies and his preferred shares. Like, he says he can never get liquidated. But that's from like Bitcoin's side. Like, he says if Bitcoin goes zero, he'll be fine. He'll just buy up all the Bitcoin. But from his stock side, if the stocks fall below a certain level, does that mean he needs to sell? That I don't know. That's going to be interesting. Because stocks are doing horribly too. It's good to see finally Nvidia is like holding, because yesterday it went down like 5%. I don't know where MSTR is. MSTR is down 52-week low, down 5% today, 198. Willy Woo said something like if they fall below 183 or something like that, then they may be forced to sell. Again, I don't know. Only Saylor knows, because I don't think anyone knows how he's truly structured his preferred shares and the way strategy is structured. Quash, quell, squashed. I guess it is a word. So do you think 58 million for the first XRP ETF with a small company was promising? Well, it beat the Solana one, and Solana's was launched with Bitwise, which is a much bigger fund company. So it's good. It's not bad. Especially yesterday was a horrible day. Yesterday was a horrible day, and you still have 58 million inflow? Wait until good days. So I think that's a pretty good success. Who's richer, Saylor or Musk? Who do you think? Who do you think? I don't think Saylor could sell. I don't think he will ever sell. He's been through pretty bad times. Remember, he DCA'd from 10,000 all the way up to 69,000 last cycle and brought it all the way down. Not him, but like Bitcoin went all the way down to 15K and he was still holding. He didn't sell. People were making fun of strategy because they were negative with their holdings, right? He even made fun of himself by like posting pictures of himself at McDonald's, wearing a McDonald's hat and stuff like that. So he's been through bad times, but since then, he has restructured strategy and came out with all these preferred share companies like Strike and Stride and all these other ones and Stream now and all this. So that's where I don't know. Like before, he didn't have all that. Now he's like, he's leveraged so much. So I don't know. I really don't know. Only he knows, I believe. I mean, come on. They do target Sailor. Sailor's like, he's like Satoshi right now, right? He's the one guy that everyone looks at because everyone knows he has the largest amount, basically, outside of BlackRock's ETF. He holds the largest amount of Bitcoin. He has more sway now than Satoshi. Even if Satoshi came out and said, okay, I'm Satoshi and proves it with his million Bitcoin, I'd say still more people follow Saylor because of what he did in the private sector and public sector, which is to get people to create Bitcoin treasuries. So he's kind of seen like the new Satoshi, maybe even more powerful at this point. That's why people target him. He's an easy target. What if Binance and BlackRock are trying to crash the market to wash out MicroStrategy? They don't want anyone holding too much Bitcoin. Well, Binance could be doing that, but not BlackRock. BlackRock is one of the biggest holders in MicroStrategy, so that wouldn't be the case. Vanguard also holds a huge amount of MicroStrategy. So that's how you could tell they're not doing it. One of these actually show who holds them. The financials or options. Like, I remember there was a place that shows. Maybe not. Maybe it's under Yahoo Finance. There was somewhere I went before that shows who holds, like, who are the largest shareholders of MicroStrategy or any stock. All right. Holders. There we go. Look at that. Vanguard holds 7.4% of MicroStrategy. That's even larger than BlackRock. BlackRock holds 5.5%. Cantor Fitzgerald, you know, Lutnick's old company, holds 1.65%. You got Morgan Stanley and then Capital International Investors. I don't know who they are, but I mean, you know, I made this point about Vanguard. Vanguard CEO's like, I'm not so sure about Bitcoin, and they don't have an ETF, but they're the largest holder of MicroStrategy. Again, that tells you something. These guys may not publicly say it, but they hold a lot of crypto-related companies. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing with Coinbase. You look at Coinbase, let's see. Look at it. Vanguard holds almost 12% of Coinbase. And guess who's number 2? BlackRock. Between Vanguard and BlackRock, that's 20% of Coinbase. And then you got State Street at 4%. They're a large asset manager too. Now, some of this may be through their ETFs and stuff like that, but overall, Vanguard and BlackRock holds 1/5 of Coinbase. I mean, that just tells you these guys own a lot more than you think. Let's look at Tom Lee's company. I've never checked it out. Still large amounts. Man, ARK Invest holds 18% of BNMR. That's crazy. ARK Invest has a lot of money into this. If BitMiner does not do well, ARK is going to fall. That's a lot for ARK. But anyways, BlackRock and Vanguard hold 8.3% and 7%. Again, big portions of basically any crypto company you could think of. What about Hut 8? Number 1 and 2, BlackRock and Vanguard, 7.4% and 7.15%. They basically control everything. That's why they are the largest asset managers on the planet, because they control everything. I'm just curious about NVIDIA. Who's the largest shareholder of NVIDIA? SoftBank could have been, but of course, it's no surprise, Vanguard and BlackRock. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised by that, but yeah. Looks like NASDAQ is coming back. Maybe crypto will too. I hope so, because yesterday was just way too oversold. Everything I could argue, you know, with tech in general, tech, AI, people are trying to come out from risk on assets and into risk off assets. But I think they're going to see that it's too extreme, too oversold. And that's why they're going to come back. Is Tom Lee on CNBC? If MicroStrategy isn't selling, will Meta plan to sell? I doubt it. They just announced that they were going to raise another $100 million to buy Bitcoin. So it would totally destroy them if they, all of a sudden, they're so new. MicroStrategy at least been buying since 2020. If Meta plan all of a sudden did it, that would kill themselves. So I doubt it. I doubt it. Everyone should join tonight's tournament. Prizes and giveaways, and overall you're gonna have a good time and take your mind off of things. So I highly suggest to everyone to join in, and the link is in the description. And join our Discord too. Join our Discord, not just for Clash, for general chat, for boot camp. We got a lot of stuff. Almost above 7,000 people on our Discord now. This is the most active Discord I think I've ever had, ever. So it's a good place to be in. Especially a lot of you guys are fearful. You want to talk to others. Join Discord, and I'm in there all the time too, but mostly in the class chat only. Zcash is up today. Seems like people think that Zcash is somehow a risk-off asset. It is not. It is a crypto privacy chain, privacy coin, but good for Zcash on a day like today to be up 13%. But I did realize that it has fallen. You look at 7-day is down 20%. So you got to be careful. A lot of these very pumped up, hyped up crypto projects, when everyone's talking about them, that's usually when a top has formed. And a lot of people have been asking about Zcash. And there's really no, I mean, if it was like backed by something really good, I can understand it. But right now, it's just like, oh, it's a privacy chain. Oh, so we better FOMO into it. It's like, it's been around for a long time. It hasn't really changed. And the emphasis on private transactions has always been around. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but hey, people that got in and made money, congrats. But I'm still staying away from it. It's like the only thing. Like anything like Dash and Monero, Zcash, all like private coins. Starknet is like a layer 2, I think, for ETH. I don't know. I bet they probably said that they have like some privacy features. That's probably why. It's the only thing that's doing well right now, but I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. I don't even think you spelled that right, man. You're trying to bring attention to Electronum 2.0, but yet you spelled that wrong. You know, Gate, I'll share a story about Gate, and it's not a good one because I've been trying to get Clash listed on several it's listed on several tier 3, 4 exchanges. Our latest one is BTCC, and it's really good because they're a partner. But I've been talking to others like Kraken and Gate. And you know what Gate came back with? They're like, because I know a lot of these want some kind of money for listing. They'll say it's marketing, okay? But it's really like more than that. So Gate was like, yeah, we looked at your project. We'll keep an eye on it. But what is your marketing budget? I'm like, I don't really have one for Clash. You tell me how much, you guys need for marketing. And the guy I was talking to is like, oh, I need to put down, what is your max marketing budget? I'm like, that's ridiculous. I don't have a max budget. You tell me how much it is. And she's like, no, you have to tell me what your max budget is so I could put that in the application. I'm like, okay. So I just didn't answer. See, that's that's what you had to deal with some of these exchanges. So I'm not a big fan of Gate after that conversation. No, I told her like it's $5 million. I just did it for fun and see what happens. It's not gonna be 5 million, but I just said that because I want to hear what they come back with. If they come back and say, well, okay, marketing budget is $1 million because I said 5 million, then it's just like a pay to list thing. Can I long sold from here? Well, you better know what you're doing. It's a really rocky market to be playing with levers right now, but if you could read the charts accurately, then you have a chance. If you cannot, you're not going to have a chance. You're gambling. Sometimes gambles work, but in most cases they don't, at least from my experience. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Overall, will the Bitcoin and crypto crash end? The answer is yes. It always does. The market tends to move in opposite directions of the herd. And right now, the herd is like sell, sell, sell. Everyone wants to sell, right? The fundamentals are still great. Adoption is still growing. We got a lot of fear right now. Overall, Wall Street's fearful. Retail's fearful. A lot of fearful things. But until we have that FOMO euphoria top or phase, I don't think things are over. All right. So smash the like, subscribe to the channel, guys. I'll see you guys tonight during tournament, Clash tournament. It's going to be on my other channel. But make sure you participate and join in. You're going to have some fun, take your mind off of things, and have a chance to win some big prizes. It's in the description of this video. All right? Have a good one. Take care, guys.